Hello friends, welcome to Coding Techniques again. Today I am going to teach you how to design a job finder application. We are going to design two screens of that. First is the home screen and the other one is the job screen. Different job, single screen we will design it up, which you can just see it on your screen. So these two screens we are going to design today. Let's get started. And before getting started, if you haven't checked my courses, do check it out. Links are there in the description, and also the templates that are also launched. Just check all the stuff. Everything is available in the description. Just check out all the description and even the pinned comment too. With that being said, let's start our video. So this is our first design that we are going to work with. So this is the home page. Let's start working with that. Now I am going to use a standalone project, which you can just see here. This is a standalone project which I have created, in which I have the home page by default, where I have removed all the unnecessary stuff and only have an ion title called home and ion content to be a full screen. That's the only thing which I have kept. Other things I have removed it up. And this is the design which you can look at right now. Now, at first, I'm going to have a tabs page. So what am I going to do? Let me just create another one to create our pages. Ionic G page, and I'll name it as tabs 1. Okay, after that, what am I going to do? Now this home one, I'm going to remove it, or should I move it within the tabs 1? Let's remove it and I'll have it again. So let me delete it, and don't worry about the error. I'm going to have it again. This time I'm going to create another page within the tabs folder, and I'll name it as home in this particular way. Now I'll have an home page within the tabs 1. In the routing one, I need to make some changes, but before that, in the tabs one, I'll create another file. If you remember, I have shown you earlier also tabs.route.ts file for tabs routing. Okay, because we will be navigating from the tabs itself, right? That is why. Now in the app.route.ts, we have an error here for the home page because we don't have anything called home. I'll just have tabs, and this home one is coming here because I created it before passing the routes in the tabs one. That is why. Otherwise it will directly show up in the tabs one. So let me just remove it from here, and this particular tabs one, I'm going to change it to load children because I'm going to use the routes one here, not the page one. So it is going to be route tab.routes. What's wrong? This is the one I need, and then this is going to be routes, which I'm just going to define in the tabs route. So you can simply copy everything from here, okay, from the app.route.ts and paste it in the tabs.route.ts, in which, well, I don't need anything as such. Instead, I will have an empty path and the component will be tabs page. After that, I will have not this particular stuff. Instead, I'm going to have children, where I'm going to pass my home page along with an empty path redirection that is done in this particular way. So I'm going to redirect to /tab/home by default. Alright, so just check this particular stuff. I hope you are getting it exactly the way I have shown you earlier only in the previous videos which I have shown. So it is the same stuff, not much of a difference, and that home page which we had here, simply I'm passing it there. That's it. I have removed it from here, so it's pretty easy for you to understand, I suppose. And there is a default path to tabs one. I have changed it. Okay, so now our tabs routing is ready. And what else do we need to do? I need to go to the HTML and work with that. So I don't need all this stuff. Instead, I need to work directly with the ion tabs. And for doing so, what am I going to do? I'll just replace all the code with this particular one that I have just pasted. So in which I have ion tabs, ion tab bar, slot to be bottom, and then ion tab button home. Okay, then I have HUD outline, then chat box ellipsis, then person outline. Okay, these are my icons which I am going to use. Now let's check the routing. Okay, /tab/home. All right, fine. I'll just check it why it is not coming up. Let me first check everything is fine or not. Well, I don't think I need this particular stuff here. Instead, I'm going to use the latest ones. So let me just remove these things and these three things also. In order to use the icons, I need to do something else. I'm going to show you. First of all, I need ion tabs here. Okay, you need to import it. If you're not getting the suggestion here, then simply do one thing. Import in this particular way. I have pasted it from at Ionic/Angular/Standalone. That is what you need to call in order to import all this stuff. And I'm going to have all the things here. Copy and paste it. All right, as simple as that. Now, in order to use the icons, what I need to do, I need to have here add icons, import it from Ion icons, braces, and within that you need to pass the icon names. So I'm going to pass the 4 icon names, home outline. I need to import it. Okay, the suggestion is not coming up. In that scenario, you simply need to import it from Ion icons/icons. Okay, so in this particular way, you need to simply pass it and you are good to go. Hope it's clear. Now you can see the icons are coming up. And also one more thing which I didn't show you is that in the variables.scss, I have changed the color of the primary one to be the dark color, because the design that we are going to build is of mostly the dark color by default, means that is a primary color. That is why I have done that. Okay, and also I have changed the light color also, which is this particular one that I have passed here. Let me just show you where it is. This is the light color which I have used. Okay, and other things I have just kept it as same. The dark one I have not touched it yet. So I hope you are clear about this stuff also. Now what am I going to do? Since we are good to go with the tabs one, we can simply work with the home screen now. Or should we do something else? Yes, definitely we need to design it, because it is not the same design that we have seen in the picture, correct? And in order to achieve that, we need to work with our Ion tab bar in the SCSS. This is the design that we need in order to achieve this particular one, where I have just changed the background of the Ion tab bar to be the primary color, that is the dark one. Then border radius to the top left and top right side I have given. Then padding top of 1 VH and padding bottom. So basically padding top side and bottom side I have given just to make the Ion tabs bar little bit larger in size so that it looks good and the icon looks little smaller, which looks pretty nice. And now I have changed the default color of all the icons to be the medium one, and the selected one will have the light color. Alright, then the icon size I have changed it to 1.3 rem. So these are the design stuff which I have done in order to achieve this particular stuff. Alright, now we are good to go with the home screen. And in the home screen, what am I going to do? Well, in the TypeScript, what am I going to do? Again, we have the same imports Ionic module, since in the latest version we don't need to use any module here. So I'm just going to remove it, only use it whenever required. Alright, so I'll just remove it and pass everything one by one, say like Ion header. Alright, I have imported it. Let me move it at the bottom. Then what do I have? Ion toolbar. After that, Ion content. So whatever you feel like you need to use it, simply pass it here. I know this is like little bit more tasks which they have provided us to do, but yeah, that is what they have done so far in the latest version. So if you don't want to follow this pattern, then simply go for Ionic module and you are good to go. You don't need to like work with each and everything again and again. Okay, and if you're using ng modules one, you simply don't need to touch all this imports and standalone part. Okay, you simply go ahead with the, not even the icons also you don't need to use, just simply pass everything in the HTML and you are good to go. Now in the homepage HTML, I have Ion title also, so I need to pass here Ion title too. It is imported. Great, no more errors. Great. Now I don't need this particular header here, so let me just remove it, and I'm just going to have the Ion content full screen to be true, and I'll remove this particular one. Instead, I'll simply pass the class Ion no border, because I don't want any border to be present. Okay, let's work with this particular stuff now. All right, now to the Ion toolbar, I will pass color to be light color and a class of Ion padding vertical. Now this you can see, this is coming up as light color. Again on the Ion content also we can give light color one. So let me just pass it here, color to be light. Now everything is of light color. Now just look at the design. We have here Ion buttons at the left side and at the right side, which we can directly use from the toolbar itself. And at the center we have an Ion title within which we can pass an image, then it will be positioned properly. And the mode should be iOS one. Then only it will be at the center. Otherwise we have to do certain tasks for MD, means for the Android one. So in order to achieve the same, let me just pass it here. And title mode to be iOS, and an image I'm going to pass, that's gonna be the logo, which I have simply passed it in the assets one. I have all the images available here. Just look at all the images that I'm going to use one by one. This is the logo one that is coming up, so you can just get it from the assets one. Okay, let's move ahead. This is the thing that is working, but the design is not great. So in order to design it up properly, I need to go to the SCSS file of the home page and work with the ion header. Alright, I'm going to work with the toolbar in which I'm going to pass. This is the default one which we already have for the ion toolbar, the CSS properties. So padding start and padding end, I have given it as 1.5 VH. Alright, that will be needed when I simply pass the ion buttons. And for the ion title, I've reduced the size of the image to be 6 VH. I've fixed it up of width and height same. Okay, now let's go to the HTML again and work with the ion buttons. So let me just pass it here. After the ion title, 2 buttons I am going to pass. Now the hazardous tasks come into play. Whenever I'm adding some new stuff, I need to import it again. So I'm going to use an ion buttons. Let me just explain you. Within that, I'm having an ion thumbnail because the design that we are looking for is this particular one, the white screen one. So we need to have a thumbnail where we can simply have all the stuff, and within that I have an icon here, and in this particular one I have the image one. All right, so let me just have in both the cases in this particular way. This is the image one and this is the icon one. All right, so this is done. Now ion thumbnail and ion buttons, I need to import it. Let's go here to the homepage TypeScript file. Ion buttons suggestion is not coming up. Let's check it here. No, it is not coming up. And after that, ion thumbnail, here also I didn't get the suggestion, so simply copy it and paste it here. The error will go away because everything will be imported from the standalone one only. Okay, all right, now I'll go to the HTML again. Okay, I have the ion icon also, so let me just pass that ion icon too. It's gonna be ion icon. Okay, once again I need to pass here add icons, within that apps outline, and import it from ion icon/icons. Okay, so you can see this icon is showing up and the image is also showing up, but it is not looking great, right? So we need to align it properly. I'll go to the HTML at first. Everything looks fine here to me. Now let's go to the SCSS and work with that particular stuff. Now before starting it off in the HTML, I have given this particular thumbnail where I have apps outline to be of class menu. All right, and I'm going to show you why I'm doing that. Let me just go to the SCSS once again, and after this particular ion title, I'm going to have my ion thumbnail here. All right, okay, now it's fine because we have everything within the ion buttons, so you can simply pass it within the ion buttons also if you're confused. Let me just do that. I think that would look nice. Ion buttons. All right, this is done. Now for the menu one, I'm just centering it up, and in order to center it up, I've given display to be flex and align items towards the center and justify content at the center one. All right, so that is how it is being done. Now after that is done, let's check it out. This is looking nice, and in fact if you want, you can reduce the image size also within the ion thumbnail. Let me just do it. img width to be 90% and height to be 90%. Okay, so if I do that, this is going to get reduced, the image one. Now, if you want it more smaller, simply go for 80%. So just play around with this stuff as per your requirement. Just check it out. Okay, and like if you don't want to pass it only on the menu ones, I'll cut it and I'm going to paste it directly here only. Now, everything will be centered up. All right, so we don't need any menu as such. I think this will look nice, isn't it? I hope you are agreeing with me. So I'll just remove this particular class here, not needed anymore. Now this looks better, correct? Great. All right, so this is done. Now what am I going to do in the HTML? What next? We need to work with this particular stuff here, so let's work with that now. All right, so what am I going to do after this ion header in the toolbar, not in the toolbar, in the ion content, I'm going to have an ion row within which I will have an ion column, then ion label, and within that an ion text in which I'm going to pass find your, then in a p tag I'm going to pass creative jobs. So this is how it is being done. All right, so I'll just import all this stuff in order to get rid of the error, and I've given a class to this particular ion row to be of tagline so that we can design it up in the SCSS. So let's first get rid of the error. Now I'm going to have ion row, ion column, then ion text, anything else, ion label also. All right, so let's copy all the 4 stuff and I'll pass it in the imports too. Okay, now you will see there is no error and we are able to see the stuff. I'll go to SCSS and work with that particular tagline one, which needs to be done after the ion header part. All right, So for the iron row class tagline, this is my design part where I'm giving padding left to be 1.5 ph. So everywhere I'm just keeping 1.5 ph padding towards the left side and mostly towards the right side also. So in the iron text, I'm just passing a font size of 2 rem, which is looking great, and a font weight of 800, which will make it more bolder. Okay. All right. So after that is done, I'm going to work with another iron row here, and this time it's going to be a search button. So search bar needs to be passed, and along with that, I also need an iron button. So let's import it at first. Then I'm going to show you what exactly it is about. So iron search bar and iron button, just copy it and paste it here. Fine. Okay, after that is done, we are good to go. Let's go to our, you can just check the design here. All right, and I have whatever I have used, let me just explain you at first. So I'm just using another row where I've given a class of srch, and I'm using an iron column here where I've given size 10 for this particular search one and column size 2 for this particular button one. Now I have an iron search bar where I have given a class of search bar and a placeholder search for jobs. Alright, so this is what I have been using in the search bar here, which is not obviously in use. You can simply type anything you want. Okay, then this is the button where I've given mode to be iOS, because in the iOS we have this proper design. That's what I need, and within that I will be having options icon. Okay, so in order to have this particular icon, what am I going to do? In the TS file, I'll simply pass this options here and import it. Once that will be done, I will see this particular options one. All right, and anything I have done in the global.scss, yes I do. I have passed for the iOS, I have designed the search bar in a different way where I have given minimum height to that particular search bar to be 45 pixels. If I don't give that, you see what happens, it is looking little smaller, which I don't want. That's why I have increased the minimum height to be 45 pixels. I think it was earlier 36 pixels or something by default, but anyways, this is how you can change it. Okay, I hope you have understood this particular stuff. Now after doing that, I'll just get back to the SCSS again, because I need to work with the designing of that particular row of searching one. And the design that I'm going to provide for this particular one is padding right to be 1 VH. Little bit padding right, I have just passed it here. And if you want more, let me just pass 1.5 VH. All right, so it will be aligned properly. Then align items to be at the center so that everything will be aligned properly. Then I have given a background color to be of white one to this particular search bar. Okay, and a border radius of 10 pixels. That's gonna be enough. So these two are the default one, which is the custom properties of CSS properties of the iron search bar. That is why this dash dash is being given. All right, so this up till here everything looks fine. Then we need to work with the popular jobs and recent jobs, for which we need to have certain jobs array to be passed, for which I'll go to the TypeScript again. So I'll go to the HTML TypeScript, homepage TypeScript actually, and I will define two arrays. One is for the popular one, another one is for the recent jobs. Okay, now in the ng on init, let me pass the value of this particular arrays. So this is the stuff which I have just passed. Just check it out. These arrays are same, mostly the values are same, like ID2 and ID3 is being replicated here, but ID4 is in the recent one, whereas ID1 is in the popular one. So what do we have? We have the company, location, then the ID was at there earlier, expires on, post means for which post you are going for, looking for, then the type, full-time or part-time, salary, long logo, dark logo and light logo. Okay, so these are the basic things which I need here. Everywhere it's the same stuff. So this is what I'm going to use it as the data into our HTML. That is why I have passed it. Okay, now moving ahead, I need to first check whether this popular array exists or not. If the length is greater than 0, then only I'm going to move ahead, and for doing so I'm going to use the Angular 17 feature, because I'm not going to use ngIf from now on, mostly in the standalone one, because from Angular 17 onwards we can directly use something of this kind at if. Okay, so this particular stuff we can directly use it in order to check the if condition. You don't need ngIf from now on. if you're using this particular stuff, because in the package.json file, I'll just show you, this is the version of Angular that I'm going to have. Okay, so I'll go to the TypeScript again, and not exactly TypeScript, in the HTML, and I can simply pass whichever design that I need within this particular condition. Okay, now for this particular design, in order to work with this particular popular jobs one, I need to work with this swiper one. So swiper.js we need to install. So npm I swiper in order to install this swiper one. Alright, this is installed. Now I can simply use it. And if you remember how to use swiper, the latest version up till now, I need to go to the app.component.ts file, and I have already passed it, so I'll just uncomment it. So this is the things that you need to pass at first. Once that is done, you are good to go in the home page wherever you want to use it. All right. Now I'll go to the TS file again of the home page, and at the top, I need to pass swiper modules that will have an array of Ionic slides imported. Okay, something got wrong. Not exactly this particular one. It needs to be imported from at Ionic/Angular. Now the error is gone, and you can use it in your HTML now. So what kind of design I'm going to have? Let me just show you. Let me directly paste it. So this is the basic design which I'm going to have. I'm going to have an ion list where lines will be none, then ion list header I'm going to use, in which I'm going to pass this popular jobs and show all. So popular jobs will be passed within an ion label, and show all will be passed within a button. All right, and the slot will be given. So these two things will be passed. Now what am I going to do? I need to import it at first in order to get rid of the error. So I'll go to the TS file, and ion button I already have. What else do I need? Ion list header and ion list, copy. So I need ion list and ion list header, copy it, paste it here. Fine. Let's check it once again. What error do we have now? We have the error in the swiper container, and this particular one, let me simply comment this stuff. Okay, so for the swiper container, I need to pass custom element schema, comma, schemas, custom element schema. It is imported, all right, from @angular/core. Once that is done, the error is gone, and we can see the design here. So this is coming up. All right, this is showing up properly. That's great. Now let me go to the HTML once again. So in the ion list header, I have the ion label, then a button. All right, so this is showing, but now we need to design a little bit, because here we don't have any data as of now. We need to create a component for that. I'm going to do that, and this is how we can use add4. This means ng4 we used to use earlier. Now we can use the for loop in this particular way, where job of popular. So popular is the array which I'm just passing it up here, and you can directly use the track function here. Earlier we used to pass the track by and pass a function name there. Now you can simply pass which particular property you want to track it. Okay. All right. So once that is done, you can simply work with this particular component here. Okay, so I'm just going to work with this component now. Let me create one component, Ionic G, C4 component, in this particular way, within a components folder /job. Okay, let's go for it. And a component will be created here in this particular way. We can use that easily. Now this component is not standalone by default. Let me just make it standalone in this particular way. Okay. And in the HTML, there is nothing. So I'm just going to design that up for the time being. Let's keep it in this particular way. And I'm going to go to the homepage SCSS in order to work with the designing of this particular stuff here. So for that designing, I will have this ion list here. Let's close it. So ion list, I'm going to have background to be transparent. Fine. So the white background is removed, which was there by default. Then for the ion list header, I'm giving a padding right to be 1 VH. Which is going to be fine here. All right, because there is some default padding also that was available in the ion list. So ion label Font size I have changed to 1.1 rem. Then the button text size I have changed to 0.7 rem because that was smaller. As we have seen in this particular design here, right? It is smaller. Now it's fine. Okay, great. So now let's work with the component at first so that we can see the whole stuff here. Now in the HTML, I will work with an iron card here at first, iron card, and whatever I use, I need to import it. But before that, in the HTML of the home page, I will be passing job, okay, data, then the router link in this particular way. Don't worry, I'm just going to define everything. I've just passed it. So tab slash job slash the job ID. That is how the routing will be aligned. Okay, so you don't need to worry. And this is swiper container, which we have seen earlier also in the earlier videos, which I have shown on Swiper.js latest version. Okay, and slides per view, 1.4 slides I want to see per view. Okay, everything looks fine here. Let's go ahead to the HTML of the job component, and in the TypeScript actually I need to import it. So imports iron card, and not only card, I will be needing a lot of stuff. So let me just paste it. So these are the things that I will be needing. All right, let me just import all of it at once. So this is how I'm going to import it. Okay, so all of them are imported now. And along with that, I also need an import decorator also for the job one. Let me import it. Okay, so looks good. Now let's work with the designing stuff in the HTML one. So within the iron card, I need a lot of things actually. So let me just show you how I'm going to proceed with this. So this is our stuff, right? So I'll be having an iron list here because I can see this particular stuff. I can have it within an iron item only because this will show up in iron label. Then the iron P tag, we can directly show the next part. Then this is an iron chip that I can use. And this is, I think, bookmark icon, which you can directly place it on the right side. Okay, by slot, passing the slot to be end. Similar case, we can do it here. Okay, this is another an item where this particular stuff is the thumbnail here, where I have the image and that is the logo part. Then I have the title or the company name, and I'll use a p tag at the bottom of the iron label for the location, and directly I will pass this particular iron text maybe in the right side slot to be end. I can simply pass it. Okay, then align it as per the requirements. Self align self to be end or something else. We'll check that out. And this is align self to be start because it is not at the center, I think. So this is what I'm going to proceed ahead for this design part. Let's go ahead and try it out. So within the iron card here, what am I going to do? Let me just design it in this particular way. All right, so let me just remove this particular one. All right, so iron card is there. Within that, I'll have an iron list of lines none because I don't need any lines. Then I'm going to have an iron item where I'll have the class to be iron margin bottom because I need some margin at the bottom part. That is why I've just passed it, because there are two iron item which I'm going to use like a seed. Then I'm going to have an iron label where I have the post p tag where I'm passing the salary, and then iron chip of color light I'm passing where I have the job type. Okay, and this iron item I'm giving a color of primary, which is a dark color by default. Then I'm using an iron button where I'm passing the icon to be having a name of bookmark, which will be slot towards the end side, and I will just fill to be clear, and the color will be medium size, medium color. So for the bookmark, I need to go to the job component.ts file and add the icons here in this particular way. Bookmark, import it. All right. Once that is imported, I think everything is good to go. What's wrong here? I don't see any design because in the home page TS file, after importing all this stuff, I also need to import job component in order to use it. If I import it, I can directly use it up because I have passed custom element schema. That is why the error is not coming up in the HTML. And in order to show the design, I definitely need to import that particular component at first. Okay, now you can see the design is coming up. Great. So after doing that in our job component, I hope you're getting it right. So one iron item is done. Let's work with the another iron item. So my another iron item will be this particular one where I have passed the color to be primary, then iron thumbnail at the start part like I said, and I'm passing the image. This time logo dark I'm passing, which will be directly taken it from where the name that I have will be taken from the assets one. That is why I'm passing this particular link. Then I have the company name in the iron label and then the p tag for the location. Finally, iron text slot end where I'm passing 4 days left. Well, I'll be passing everywhere 4 days left. You can simply take care of it by working with this expire zone. Just match it with the current date time, then the expire zone, and whichever is the difference, you can simply pass it here. So I'll just leave it to you guys how you work on that. Okay. All right, so this is working for us. Now I just need to work with the design part and we are good to go. So I'll just go to the SCSS part and work with that. Now at first I will work with the iron card here, to which I'll pass a background color to be primary and a margin of 1.5 VH will be fine for me. Then a border radius of 15 pixels is good. Okay. Now after that, very important, because you can see this white color that is coming up from the iron list. So I'll make the iron list background to be transparent and now it's gone. So it is transparent and margin top and bottom I've given to be 1 VH, which looks nice to me because it will be aligned properly here. Okay. Now after that, I need to work with the iron item here. So too many things in the iron item which I've just pasted. First of all, I'm going to work with the iron label here where I'll pass font size to be 0.95 rem for this particular one. Then font weight I have passed it bold. For the p tag, I'm just passing a font size of 0.65 rem because I want it a little smaller. Then a margin top of 5 pixels so that it has little margin. If you want little smaller, then you can simply go for 3 pixels also and it will be aligned properly in that particular way as per your requirement. Okay, so but I'm happy with the 5 pixel one. And then font weight I have given to be 500. I think that's fine. Then for the iron chip, well, I have played with lot many things. Minimum height I have passed it as 0, which I can move it at the top. Then font size is 0.65 rem, same as the p tag one. Border radius of 8 pixels I have given, then font weight of 500 and some padding and margin I have just passed it. Margin left is to make some difference between the two, and padding, well, to make it a little bigger in size. Okay. Then for the iron button, well, align self to be start. Okay. And then margin top of 1.5 VH. If I don't give that, it will move towards the top side. That is why I have done that. Just check it out. It is moving towards the top, which I don't want. That is why some margin top is being given. Similarly, not similarly, for the iron thumbnail, this is the thumbnail which I had. I've given a height and width, I have fixed it to 3 VH, and a background color, I've given it of light color because the image that I'm going to use within that will be the dark color one. So the border radius I've given to be 5 pixels and aligned everything towards the center, for which I have given display to be flex and align items to be center and justify content to be center in x-axis and y-axis. Okay, so if you just don't pass this particular justify content, you can see in the x-axis it is not getting aligned. So align items in y-axis and justify content in x-axis works in that way. Then the image height and width I've given it to be 80% of the iron thumbnail. That is why it is properly visible. Then the company one, which is this particular one, I've already given the class in the HTML part. We can just simply check it out. The font size is 0.8 rem, font weight is 500. Then the p tag where I have the location, I'm passing some margin top, which is in this particular way, and some iron text which I have used. I'm giving a font size of 0.65 rem, okay, to the New Delhi one. And finally, the iron text, that is the 4 days left one, I've given a font size of 0.65, font weight to be bold, self-aligned to be at the end part, align self to be end, means at the bottom part. But if I don't give this margin bottom, it will be aligned towards the bottom, extreme bottom, which I don't want. So that is why margin bottom is required in order to move it towards the top side. Fine. So this is the basic designing which I have done in order to achieve this particular result. And you can see this is how it is looking superb, right? So this is the way we have used our swiper.js, and it's looking lovely. Moving ahead, I need to go to the homepage HTML once again because this design is done. You have seen the if, even you can use at else also, of course, and for loop you can directly use it in this particular way instead of using ng4, which has reduced a lot of tasks, right? Now the next part is to work with the recent one, right, where we have this particular design, isn't it? So this particular stuff which we are going to implement, and the above part, the recent one, is similar to the iron list header that we have designed here, right? So we can just replicate those things. Let's work with that quickly. In the HTML, what am I going to do? At first, I'll check if not popular, actually it's going to be recent, if recent.length is greater than 0 or not. If it is not, then I'm not going to move ahead because recent is our array list that we have here, right? This is the array list where we have the data, right? Now, within this, what I'm going to have? Well, I'm going to have an iron list and iron header. Okay, let's just do it one by one. So I'll just show you. This is our iron list, same as earlier one. Margin bottom, I've just passed it, and a class I've given recent jobs in order to work with the designing part of it. Now iron list header is the same as earlier one. You can see it is having the same design, so we don't need to worry about anything here. Now after this iron list header, what am I going to do? I'm going to work with the iron item, and this iron item will be looped. So again, I'm going to use at 4, this time job of recent, and track by job.id. Okay, not track by, actually now it's track, just track. And even you can use index also. You can use, if you want to use index anywhere, you can simply pass $index, okay, within the braces one, and you can directly use it. All right, so that is how you can simply work on with the index part. Now in the iron item, what is being done here, you have a margin bottom, of course, because this will be aligned properly. You will have some space at the bottom part. Then I'm giving a router link because I need to redirect to another page. That is why this router link is passed, but this router link will not work until and unless I import router module here. So router module in the imports, this is the one. Let me import it. So I pass it in the imports, and this is how it is getting imported. All right, I hope it's clear to you. Again, I'll go back to the HTML one. And now I am having an iron thumbnail, which is this particular one that is not being shown here because I need to pass the dark color there. Don't worry, I'm just going to work with the SCSS now, where I'm passing the image, and this time the color, the logo will be of light color because we have the light color background, and the dark color thumbnail will be there. So we will have the light color logo within that. Then I will have an iron label, which is this particular one, where I'll pass the post, and finally the company will be passed after that in the p tag, and along with that I will also have the job type, and in between the job type I'll have a dot that I'm just going to work with. That is why I've given class of dot, and at the very end I will have an iron text, slot will be end, and color will be dark, 4-day left. That is what is being passed. Now let's work with the designing of it. This is very simple. I hope you have understood this particular stuff. It's time to work with the designing part of it, for which I'll go to the home page SCSS part. Let's work with that here. So at first I'm going to work with the iron list recent jobs one. So recent jobs which I have applied the class to this particular one. This is the one where I've passed this to the iron list. And why I've done that? Because I need to pass some margin left and right, and border radius also to iron item. Okay. And because I don't want it to pass everywhere, that is why I'm doing that. And for the iron label, I'm passing a margin top of 1.5 each and bottom 2. It's the same. After doing that, this is looking nice, right? Aligned properly here. Now, what else do I need to do? Well, I need to work with something more, and that's going to be iron thumbnail. So iron thumbnail, I'll pass it within this iron list only because I need everywhere to be the same stuff, right? So let me just pass it here. This is the design that I'm going to have for the iron thumbnail, where I'll have a height and width of 4 VH, then a background color to be dark one. All right. which will be applied here only because this particular stuff I have passed it within another component, so it won't be impacted. All right. Then what else have I done? Okay, border radius of 5 pixel and aligning everything to the center. I have explained it earlier. All right. And then image size, height and width, I've just passed it to be 70%. You can increase or decrease as per your requirement. Fine. So this iron thumbnail designing is done, which I pass it in the iron list only. You can pass it here also if you want to. Okay. It's going to be the same stuff. Now, after that, what else do we need? We need to work around with this particular design also. Let me just check it. The iron label. This is the one where I've just passed class to be recent one. So I'll just pass here after the iron thumbnail, the iron label of class recent. This is how you can pass, or you can just remove this particular one also. Still, it will work the same. Font size, I have just passed 0.95 and font weight, I have passed to be bold. It's looking nice. Then for the P tag, margin top of 5 pixels so that it has some spacing between the two. Then a font size of 0.65 and font weight of 600 is being passed. For this particular text, I've given font size to be 0.65 rem, font weight of 500 and align cell to be end and margin bottom of 0.8 VH, which I have already shown you in this particular stuff, right? Everything is the same. All right, so this thing is done. Anything else do I need to do? Well, actually, yes, there is one more thing which I need to work with, which is the dot part. So we need to have some dot within this particular things, the company name and the type. So for that, let me just pass this design here for the dot one. Just check it. It's very simple. Then you will have a dot here with some spacing between the two. So this is how the design is being prepared for the home screen, and I hope you are liking it. So we have successfully implemented the home screen design. It's time to design the next screen, which is our single screen. Let me just show you. So this kind of a screen which we are going to design right now, which is a single job screen that we are going to implement. All right. So let's achieve the same now. Now, in order to work with that, I will have here another page, Ionic G page within our tabs page, and I'm going to name it as job detail. Now, I'm not going to show the tabs part within that. That is why I will have it in this particular way within the tabs one only. Once I have that, I'll go to the tabs routing where it will be defined automatically. Just check this out. This is coming up, right? So I'll just change it to job /colon ID. Okay. So /tabs/job/colon ID. That's gonna be the routing, which I have already defined in the home page also. Let me just show you here. This is how it's being done. So you can understand the stuff, right? Now I'll go to the job detail part, or without going also, if you just click here, you are getting redirected to the job detail page. All right. Along with that, if I just click here also, it is getting redirected, and the URL at the very end, I will have the job ID, right? So that is how it's working. Great. So within this page, what am I going to do? I'm just going to design it up. Let's get to the TS file at first because I need the array also, right? Let me remove this Ionic module and everything. I'm just going to use whatever I want here as per the requirement, like we have done earlier. Now I'm going to have a job of type any object and an jobs array. Let me just not define it here. Instead, I'm going to define it later on. Let me just pass an empty array here, and I'm just going to have this dot jobs will be equals to this particular array data, where I have some more data: company ID, location, expires on, post type, which you have already seen, salaries was there, logo dark, logo light. Then I have another image one. Okay, the image that I'm just going to show here, this image will be passed in this particular one. Then some description will be passed. If you want to, you can definitely use that. So this is the step which I have just used in the data. Let's design it as per our requirement now. Okay, so what exactly do we have in our HTML part as of now? Okay, iron header, then iron toolbar and everything. Let me remove everything at first for the time being and close all the tabs. Okay, I just need two tabs. One is this particular one and the other one is for the HTML one for the time being, so that I can toggle between the two. Okay, now in the HTML, in order to get rid of the error, I need here ion content, ion header, then ion toolbar. Anything else do I need? I need the ion title. Well, that was not needed actually, so let me just comment it for the time being. Let me remove this particular one also. So ion content is of full screen and color of light color. Okay, for the ion header part, I'm going to work with the toolbar here, where I'm just going to have the background. This is how we can pass the styling here also directly. I'm just passing the styling here, where I'll get it from the assets one, and this for backward slash is being used because I'm using another single quote here. That is why, in order to minimize the use of it. If I don't give that, it's gonna be giving me an error. All right, that's why it's needed. Okay, now in order to pass a dynamic image in the background of the ion toolbar, I have to do it in this particular way. No repeat, center, and it will be taking the cover size. All right, so this is how I'm passing the default custom CSS property for the toolbar of dash dash background one. All right, I hope it's clear to you. Then I will be using iron buttons, slot to be starred, and I'll have a thumbnail for the design part. And finally, I'm just going to pass the back button there. So I need to import all of it one by one. Let's do it. Iron buttons, iron thumbnail, iron back button is not coming up because we haven't used it yet. Let me simply copy and paste it here. Now the error will go away and this is showing up. So that is how it is working. All right, so one more thing I need here is the SCSS. So let me just open it up. All right, so three files I need here. In the SCSS, I need to work with it. I'm going to work with the iron content here, where I'll work with the iron header part. In the toolbar, I'll just give a height of 30 VH. Then background, well, I have already passed. If you don't want to pass it in that way dynamically, then you can simply do it in this particular way too. After that, for the iron buttons, well, I'm just giving margin towards the 2 VH top and bottom and 1.5 VH on the left and right side. Then thumbnail background white color, that is why this is showing up. Then the border of 1 pixel solid medium color. Then border radius, which was there as a custom property, I have just passed 10 pixels. Then centering it up, and finally the icon size is being passed. Up till now, this is the things that I have done. And then the image is not coming up because we don't have anything in the object as of now. Let's work on that in the TypeScript one for this particular job one. So in order to get the job data, I need to work around with the ID here. So in the constructor, private route, activated route imported from @angular/router, and this helps us to get the value of the URL ID if you have any dynamic data there, or you can get the whole URL also if you want to. This .router.url, that is how you can get it. You need to import the router also by injecting it here if you want the whole URL. Okay, I just want the ID, that is how I'll get the ID, and you don't need to subscribe for it in this particular way if you do it. Then I'll get the job data where I'm just matched the ID with this particular data here. And if it matches, or if we have some data, then this .job will be modified with that particular data, or initialize, I would say. Fine. So now you can see the image is coming up. Up till now, everything looks fine and everything is working as expected. The header part is done. It's time to work with the other parts of the design. Now, what is the next part? Let's check it out. In the next part, we have to design this particular things. And if you recall it, we have already designed in our previous page the similar stuff, right? So we can just copy the same stuff here and work with that. Let me just show you. Well, this is an iron list which I have prepared, where I have iron item, 2 iron items, okay? But the designing part will be different. That is why I'm just having the same stuff. Otherwise, I could have done something in order to reuse it, okay? All right, so in order to get rid of the error, I need to do something. Let's do that. So I need to import them one by one. List and item label. Okay, Anything else? Let's check it out. Well, iron item was already given. Let's check it out. Iron chip. Okay, still it's not coming up here. Why? Let me just copy it and I'm going to paste it here. Now, alright, iron item and iron chip is not showing up here. Why? Alright, it's being passed here. My bad. I don't know how it came there. But anyways, now the error is gone. I think I have done the wrong import because I didn't saw it. I just pressed the enter button and it was taking whatever it could see. Anyways, now everything is sorted. And text also I need. Let's pass it. This is the one. Now this time proper import is being done. Alright, the error is gone and you can see the design part here. But we need to design those stuff in order to look the proper way that we see it in the image one, right? So let's work on that in the SCSS part after the iron header part. So I'm just going to work with the iron list here. This is my iron list which I have just pasted. Border radius towards the bottom part I need this time as per the design. Then padding I need on all sides. After that, on the iron item, same iron label I'm just passing 1.7 because I need little bigger this particular post one, and then a font weight is being passed. Then this particular one is of the same size 0.65 and everything is same. For the iron chip also you can just check it out, everything is the same. Alright, then what else? In the iron thumbnail, well, I have changed the background color to be dark this time, which is required, and height and width I have changed to 4VH. Border radius of 5 pixel. I think there is some default one also, right? Yes, it is taking that. Great. Then display flags, align item center, justify content center. If I missed anything, just do it on your own. Okay, and do let me know. I think I have just passed in the job one also directly the thumbnail border radius. In fact, I can do it in this particular way also. Let's get back and I will be able to see that it's working, right? Great. So let me click on it and I'll get back. You can see that image is changing and the data is also changing. All right, let's get back to our job detail one. And in the job detail, what data we have? Okay, data I have defined in the SCSS. I was doing that. This is the job one. This is the job detail one. Don't get confused. So everything is aligned to the center. This time image height and width I've given it as 80%. I think earlier also I think I did the same, but I don't remember. I have to check it. Anyways, for the company 0.8 REM, everything is the same for the company part. Then for the iron text, well, I have just passed font size. I'm not aligning it towards the bottom. Okay. And in fact, you can just, if you just remove it, I think it's going to be fine. If you want some margin bottom, definitely you can work with that. Let's check the design here. What was there? Well, in the design, it is given in this particular way, but still you can just modify the design a little bit and remove this margin bottom. I don't think it's required. Okay. I'm happy with this particular way. Okay, great. So this part is complete. What is the next part? Let's check it out. The next is this particular segment part. So iron segment I'm going to use for that. And these two are the iron rows, which I will just pass, where I'm simply going to pass the description. And finally, the iron footer part is this particular one that I'm going to design. So pretty simple part now to work with, except the segment one, which we need to design a little bit. So let's go to our HTML and start working with that. After the iron list, I'll have an iron row here, okay, where I'll pass iron segment value of iron segment value, which I'm just going to define. And whenever it's changing, I'll have a function where the event will be passed, and I'm giving more to be iOS because for Android also I want the same design. All right. Then iron segment button will be used, where I'll just have the label. That's it in all the three cases. Okay, I've changed the values here. Just check it and do it in a similar manner. Fine. Let's go to our TS file and get rid of the errors. So iron row, after that iron segment button, copy and paste it here. Fine, the error will go away. Just these things are left. So for that, I'll go to the TS file and work here. So this is how I will be passing description by default. Okay. And whenever it changes, I will pass or change the value to the event.detail.value. You can simply check it in the console log. You will get the value there. And in the detail one, you will get the value within the value one. Okay. So that is how it is being done. Now we have the stuff here, but the design is not the same. So in the SCSS, I need to work around with that. Okay. So let me minimize this so that I can work around with the other stuffs quickly. Alright, so I'll have an iron row where I'm just giving a margin of 1.5 VH. Then for this iron segment, I'm changing the background to be of light color because it was earlier different one, medium color maybe. Then the iron segment button, I am giving a margin of 10 pixels towards the top. Okay, background I have changed to white color for each and every one and a border color of light. If I don't give that, you can see there is a line that is coming up here. That is why light color is being given to match it with the background color. Okay. This indicator color is this particular one, the selected one, which will have the dark color one background. This color is the default color that will be passed to this particular text, which are not selected. And the checked ones will have the light color. Okay. Like the one we have in the description one, and the border radius of 5 pixel is being given to each and every segment button. This is one button, two button, and third button. Now the iron label within that will have a font size of 0.75 rem. That means the description will have a font size of 0.75 rem and a font weight of 500. Okay, so this is how it is being designed, and we have achieved the same. Great. Let's move ahead. The next one is the iron row once again, but here it will be conditioned because I'm just going to show up for the segment description. If you're clicking on the company part, you won't see that, or reviews part, you won't see that. Only for the description you will be able to see that particular design. So I've just pasted it, one row and second row. Okay, almost same. Let me just have iron column at first that is being used here. Iron col. Okay, done. Now let's check it out. So iron row, I'm having here margin bottom I've given, and a class DESC, which I'm just going to use it in the SCSS. Then within a column, I'm just passing qualification at first, okay, in the iron label, and which I've given a size of 12 so that it can take the full size. And after that, I'm just checking whether there is any description available, like I've shown you in the data in the TS one. Let me just show you once again if you don't remember. Just scroll this. So this is the description where I have a string array. So if you have the data, then only this will show up. That is the condition that I have given, and then looping it up. This particular within the unordered list, I'm looping the list part. Okay. Within that, I have an iron text color medium, and I'm passing the description here. So this is the description that is coming up. A similar way I have done for the about the job. So qualification and about the job is the same stuff. You can just change the data as per your requirement. All right. And everything is the same. And I'm tracking by index here. All right. So this is done. Now it's time to design it up and finish up this particular stuff quickly. So after this iron row, I'm going to have another iron row, this time DESC class. Like I said, you remember I have passed in both this particular rows DESC class. I'm passing some margin here, 2.5 VH top and bottom, and not exactly top and bottom, in the left and right side, and at the bottom part 1.5 VH I have passed, and nothing at the top part. Now background color white, yes, I need that. Border radius I have given, padding I have given. Then label I have changed here because this is the label that is being used. I have bolded it and changed the font size to be 0.95 rem. Then for the unordered list, I am giving a padding left of 20 pixel because by default it was little more, which I don't want. Then for the iron text, I have given font size of 0.7 rem and a font weight of bold. That's how I'm getting this particular design, which is looking lovely. All right, so after doing that, just one part is left, which is what? The footer part. And remember one thing, this images which I have here is mostly taken from the free pick one. So just don't use it everywhere commercially. Other images, well, I have designed it on myself. But yeah, some of the images I have used from free pick. So for designing the footer part, I need to get here and footer. And within this, I will have a lot of things. toolbar, then within the toolbar I will have an iron row and iron column will be passed, in which I have size 2. I'll be passing the bookmark one, which you can just see here. This is of size 2. All right, and this is the remaining 10 column size. Okay, so I'll have 2 buttons mostly in this particular way. All right, after doing so, everything will be passed pretty nicely. So bookmark and bookmark outline, you can toggle between the two. So what am I going to have here is I need to import few things in order to get rid of the error at first. Iron footer, what else? Iron button and icon. Okay, button, iron, icon. So this tree, let me copy it and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, any other error? All right, bookmark and toggle bookmark is the error, nothing else is giving me an error. So let's work with that in the TypeScript one. What am I going to do here? Bookmark, okay, undo, will be equals to false by default because it will be of type boolean here, which I'm going to use. And whenever you click on the bookmark one, it's going to toggle the value. All right. And for using it up in the constructor, I need to have add icons in this particular way, where I'll pass bookmark and bookmark outline, import it one by one. Not, this is bookmark m small, import from iron icon / icons. Once that is done, this is also solved and we can see a bookmark is coming up. If you click on it, you can see toggling is being done. Great. So this is done pretty nicely, just final touchings in the SCSS and we are good to go. So in the iron footer, I'll just have the toolbar color to be white color. That's it. And everything is done here. So you can see how the design is looking here. Great. So just get back, click here, look at this design. It's looking lovely here, right? Click here, just look at this design also, then this one too, right? Just play around with this stuff. It looks the same. Great. So I hope you're getting this particular things. One more thing, I am not doing anything for the companies and reviews. I'm just leaving it to you. You can just work around with that if you want to. So with this, we have come to the end of this particular video. I hope you enjoyed this video a lot. Give your love to our channel and by hitting the like button. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm looking forward to your comments also. Just give good comments there. I want to see if you're liking it, okay? And let me know what next should I go for. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video today. Thank you so much for watching and I'm going to see you next time.